Hello, this is the card reading for the tarot scope for the sign of Taurus. I have a new deck that I purchased in actually at Soul Food Books. Yeah, that's where I got it in Redmond, Washington, which is a place that I always wanted to go to because every month I would watch Rick Levine and Jeff Jower do the monthly from Soul Foods, and I learned a lot about how to talk about astrology on YouTube from watching them, and they were really my inspiration. And I've never met, well, of course, Jeff has passed, so I haven't ever met him, um, and I've never met Rick Levine, but I love both of them. So it was like going to, I don't know, it was like going to church, like the place where they did it. It'd be like if you're a big Rudolf Steiner guy and you would go to a place where he did a lecture, you would feel the energy. It was really nice. It was a beautiful place. I got a lot of really nice stuff. I got this deck of cards. I had a really delicious cup of tea. I forget the name of it, but it's didn't taste. It was herbal, but it was very delicious and potent, like herbal tea usually isn't. So, and I got a bracelet, a moss agate bracelet, which I actually should be wearing because moss agate always connects me to Taurus. Um, and um, oh my God, it's quartz, but it's brown. Oh my God, I can't think of the name of it. Smoky, smoky quartz bracelet, which is for grounding. So um, I guess I felt the need to ground. So those are the uh, ground and heal the heart, I think so. All right. So we're going to look at, so I'm going to use this deck and let's see what's in it, what Taurus is in for this month. Sorry about that. I just like knocked something over. I don't have a really big surface area here to do this. Um, So I apologize. Okay, well, Taurus. There you go. That's what you're starting with. You're starting with the death card. So, of course, we know that death can sometimes mean actual death. I mean, but it's rare. It's rare that that's the thing. And as the immediate environment, I would say it's absolutely not the thing. I would say it's the question of transformation, the question of letting go of whatever it was in your life that no longer serves you, whether it's a relationship or a way of being or the place that you live or whatever it is. There's something about sort of, letting go of the past and soaring into the future. That's what this card looks like to me. Leaving your old life behind. Let's see the challenge to that. We have the Knight of Wands here as the challenge. Um, as a challenge, this can be that you can't move somewhere. Like you don't have the luxury of movement. Maybe you're in a relationship that you're so financially enmeshed with each other that you can't unenmesh yourself. Um, or you physically can't like go anywhere. Like maybe you're just um, incapable of physically going from point A to point B. Maybe you don't have a car. Maybe you're just not physically healthy enough. Whatever it is. So the challenge is movement. The challenge is movement, and of course, with Taurus, the challenge is always movement. It's always movement. A slow and steady wins the race, though. So they do get there. And once they're committed, they're 100% committed. So oftentimes with a Taurus, it's worth the wait. It's worth the wait. Um, but there is a challenge here. And one of the other things that struck me was a belief system. To me, this struck me that is there a belief system or a series of, ways that you were raised that you no longer feel connected to? And yet it's really hard to let them go. It's really hard to, because in a way, it connects you to the past. And I think many of us don't want to feel rootless, I mean, I sort of grew up with that energy of feeling rootless as a child who was taken from her mother, not allowed for my mother to touch me, and put in an orphanage. Um, and I'm sure I was loved and well taken care of in the orphanage. It was a Catholic nun thing, orphanage. But nobody likes to feel that way. You like to feel like you have something that's connecting you. And sometimes it's a belief system that's connected to, say, your family that you're maybe not willing to give up. Um, and yet, the opportunity to be reborn is here. So you can, I guess, be reborn in whatever degree of rebirth that you want to be in. It doesn't have to be the ultimate, The ultimate let go, of course, is death. And you may have, if you're not a Taurus, maybe you know some Tauruses. You may see a passing of an energy like that. But I don't think I'm thinking of Colin Powell, but he wasn't a Taurus. Doesn't strike me as a Taurus. It actually strikes me as a Gemini or a Libra or something. But I should check that out. I should do his numbers. Let's see what's at the root. The Page of Wands. Okay, so at the root of this is actually a message. A message. And it's very well the message that you received that made you decide that something had to go, or that something had to be released, or now is the time to change. And with the crow, it's interesting. I'm using the Crow Tarot. When a crow caws, it's not a pleasant. It's not like you're listening to orioles sing to each other their songs of love, or mourning doves coo to each other. No, the crow is a warning. Is a warning. And perhaps that's what this is about. This is a warning to get moving. To do it. Just get moving, do the next thing. Let go what you got to let go of, and then move on, right? Okay, let's see what's in the past. Oh, we have the Ace of Wands. I love this card. Well, I love the Ace of Wands as a card, but this is an especially beautiful Ace of Wands. And so this is about creation, and it's new beginnings, right? Some sort of new beginning. And that was, so you just recently had a new beginning. You recently, was inspired by something, by the light of spirit. Or in some cases, it can actually be like a physical, experience. Like maybe you had a really high fever. Sometimes those things happen to us to help us move through physical things that would take too long if you just let it go its course. That's why a fever is like a vigilance, right? You're vigilant to protect yourself, because it raises your white blood cells, which would protect you. So there's the vigilance. Let's see what's in the sky. Okay, the devil's in the sky. This is a particularly macabre, is that how you say it? Macabre. I never say it right. Depiction of the devil, I think. You have these guys with horns and big muscles, and those don't scare me, but this one does a little bit. Um, there is a darkness that connects us to the earth because the earth is dense, and it's not darkness in the evilness. It's not an evil. It's a concentration and a holding. And that, I think, is part of what's letting loose for all of us. The devil can be this is what's in the heavens, right? What's in the sky. It's like an overarching influence. And with the devil there's an overarching influence of you can either participate in freeing yourself, or you can decide to stay chained to something. The choice is yours. The choice is always yours. It's always our choice. There's a new moon in Scorpio, and for many of you Tauruses, that will fall in your 7th house. There could be either a severing of a relationship or a vow within the relationship, because Scorpio is about commitment, emotional, to a certain extent financial commitment and indebtedness. So we have to be very aware of what we indebt ourselves to in November. Don't be willing to give more than you can afford to let go. Let's see what's in the immediate future. The 8 of Cups. This is another indication of having to leave something behind. The 8 of Cups is generally somebody who has put a lot of effort, especially emotional effort, into a situation, a relationship. And they decide that it's no longer spiritually fulfilling. It's too much of a burden. What was given freely is now full of resentment. And so they let go and they move on. They move on to something new. So that is, in fact, part of what is here for you in November, because it's the immediate future. And the immediate future is, generally in a regular reading 6 weeks out. So this is pretty much the month. In a way, this is really what the month's about. Let's see how it's seen from outside. The King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles is somebody who knows what things are worth. And Taurus is the sign of figuring out, at least, what is important and what is not. And so you are, in a way, being true to who you are. The thing with Taurus is that you're thorough. You don't let it go until you're done with it. Like, let's um, domestic situation, the Chariot movement. So there's a challenge to movement. There's movement, and so there needs to be movement in your home, some sort of movement. Maybe you need to declutter, open up maybe you actually have to move from your home. That could be it. For some people, that may be accurate. But at least a decluttering process, moving the energy through the house. Because there are things to do. There are things ahead for you that need doing. And it's time to move. It's literally time to pack your bags and go and do what it is that you've come to do. That's what the cards say. Hopes and fears, the King of Cups. I don't think most people fear the King of Cups, at least not the best, the best manifestation of the King of Cups. So people want to feel emotionally secure. You want to feel emotionally secure, Taurus. And that's okay. That's okay. Let's see the outcome. The Hanged Man. So I would say there is a certain amount of the energy of fate that, there are times when you really want to move, and it's about moving forward. And really, this whole reading was about move forward, do it, right? But now at the end, we have the Hanged Man. And so what this says to me is that I still think that moving forward and letting go is applies here. But we need, as individuals, Tauruses. My Venus is in Taurus, so I can relate to this reading. That there still might be delays around really being able to let go. And those delays will serve you. They will serve you. It just may not feel that way. We have the Queen of Cups. This is underneath. The Knight of Swords. And the Lovers. That's interesting. Because the Queen of Cups is sensitive and loving. Nurturing. You walk into her home and you feel at home. You know these people. You have them as friends. You walk in, you sit on their couch, they bring you a cup of tea, and you're healed. That's the Queen of Cups. Next to the Knight of Swords, which is very much a different energy. The Knight of Swords is a thinking energy. It's not a feeling energy. It's often impulsive. It often acts before it thinks. And then we have the Lovers. And so there needs to be a understanding for the energy that is within you, Taurus, that is giving and nurturing and all of that. And then you need to mix it in a healthy way with that. There's a certain amount of maybe distrust that the Knight of Swords has. That's why he strikes first. So there needs to be a balance here, because you don't want to go too much in one direction, and it'll force you, like too much in the direction of the Queen of Cups. It'll force you back through that Knight of Swords, and you'll be poking people, right? Even if you don't want to, because it builds up and then it's like comes out like and then the Lovers, well, it can be a melding together of those two energies, but it can also be a choice. So you can choose to be a jerk, if you don't mind me saying. Knight of Swords isn't always a jerk, or you can be loving. So this is the energy, and your choice is, how do you want to be? How do you want to be during those times? They say when we're under stress, we move right into our moon. So I think that's true. But if we're aware that we do that, then we can work with it. So you Taurus moons, okay, that's maybe specifically this reading is for you, even more so than the Taurus or the Taurus rising. But I think it's for all Tauruses. It kind of makes sense with the astrology. We have the full moon, right? Coming up. Sag and Gemini. Around resources, perhaps. So, all right. Well, intense times ahead. But I love you, Tauruses. Of course I do. I have my Venus in Taurus. I love Taurus. I love their solidness. I love when you get held by a Taurus. You get hugged. You feel it. I like that. So, all right, guys. Take care. See you next month for the Taroscopes for Taurus for December. Take care. Ciao.